Hey everyone, this is Christian again with Scent, and I have an amazing thing to do today, and that's interview Tyler, Hannah, and Drew of the film that's coming fairly soon, A Perfect Boyfriend. Yes, you get to hear about this news first, this film, and my friend Hannah Nelson is not only going to be the star of the film, but she wrote it. So, Hannah, can you just tell us a little clip of what this story is about?
Yeah, it helps if I just kind of tell you where the idea came from. It just like when I grew up in church. It was a Pentecostal evangelical church, and in my generation, when a girl didn't want to go out with a guy, she would just say, "Oh, sorry, I can't. I'm dating Jesus," and so
Which
that
wasn't
was
that the original title of the film?
the original title was She's Dating Jesus. And so it just like that just like came to me one day and I was like, that's so funny and that's so weird. Like in my church bubble, everybody knew what it meant, and I still hear girls saying it that are like from my generation. Um, but from the outside perspective, that's so weird and bizarre. And it was just so funny to me. And so I was like, it'd be really funny to just like kind of poke fun at it a little bit, but also show the side where like it is really meaningful to her. It just means that she's has this relationship with Jesus and she's really focused on that and doesn't want to be distracted with boys. Like that's basically what it means. And so I just had the idea like I just wanted to write this comedy film about this girl who loves Jesus and is dating Jesus and this guy who likes this girl and he has to get her to break up with Jesus. And so that's where the original idea came from. And it kind of has morphed a lot since then. And now I don't want to give too many spoilers, but it's not cheesy. It's very funny. And it has a lot of twists that I have never seen in a Christian movie before. So I'm excited about
Nice.
it.
And so, Drew, you're playing the male counterpart, the person that would be fair to say the skeptic. Uh,
Yeah, for sure. I play a character named Austin, who is really coming into life feeling alone and looking for love. And he's struck out and struck out and struck out so many times. And while, we focus on, the world of matchmaking, and that's not really going well for him. This unique concept that Hannah contrived called match breaking, where he enters into this kind of this training and to become a match breaker. And if you're asking questions about what that means, I mean, I don't want to talk too much about it, but like Hannah mentioned, he kind of gets assigned a person, which in this case is Hannah's character, and he's trying to get her to break up with her boyfriend, but unbeknownst to him, there is no boyfriend. She's dating Jesus, and that's where all of the comedy ensues, and where he encounters his creator in a very unique way.
that's awesome. Uh, Tyler, you're producing this film, and you've been a pastor, a speaker. In fact, you just wrote a book. I've got the title here. Uh, uh, Against the Current, which you just released in 2026. So you have a lot of things going on. You're juggling a lot of things, but now you've got film work. What led you into doing film work, and what led you to produce this film specifically?
Yeah. So I went to school for film. So I've always wanted to do that. And I've been doing it fairly regularly for the last decade. So I started in 2017, was when my first film was released. Um, and I met Hannah at the International Christian Film Festival, I think back in like 2021, maybe somewhere around
Yeah,
that
I think
time.
so.
Um, and I think you had a screenplay there, or you
Yeah,
were
that
working
was my
on.
first one.
Yeah, and I don't even remember how we met. I think it was just like a chance
I think we were
encounter.
just, yeah, I think we were just, I just like sat down at your table to eat or
Yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah. And I had a film in that festival, and was going through the distribution process. So it was my first theatrical release film. So I was just learning like the ropes of the how movies work in theaters and stuff. And Hannah and I hit it off really well, and then A few years later, she was back at the same festival, and my wife and I were there, and she came over and started talking to us, and then it was like we were lifelong friends after that. So, um,
That's awesome.
yeah, and so she had just won an award for the screenplay for She's Dating Jesus at the Christian Worldview Film Festival. So she just asked would I be willing to read it and give me thoughts or give her thoughts. And so I read it, and I think the next day I had already put like a budget together, and I was like, "Hey, if this is my movie, here's how I would do this." And
That's
then
awesome.
after it, I was in the middle of shooting a nationwide theatrical film called Learning You that Hannah actually had a small part in, and Drew's brother Brett had a small part in, and
Andrew was in the background at one scene, but I think that scene got
that's true.
cut.
But it got on the cutting floor,
Got
so
him
it
on the
doesn't matter.
floor.
Ooh, that had to hurt, Drew.
Yeah, sorry.
No, no.
Um, but yeah, so I was meeting with Hannah like once every week or two, just trying to help her find a producer for this film because I really liked the script. I was just swamped with our own projects, and eventually it got to the point where I was just like, "Hey, what if like it might take a little while to develop it, but would you be interested if my company purchased the film and developed it?" And she was like, "Yes, that'd be awesome." And so one thing led to the other, and here we are. So that's been about a couple year process.
Yeah, it's been like 2 years. It felt like so long, and then all of a
Yeah,
sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, it's in 20 days.
yeah,
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 so you guys are doing principal filming here in just a few weeks.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, if it's not a spoiler, where are you guys filming? Where's the setting going to be?
I guess technically we start next week with principal photography because I shoot. We three of our team flies down to West Palm Beach to shoot all of Kevin Sorbo's stuff in 3 days. But
Did
then,
you just say
So
Kevin
fun.
Sorbo?
Kevin
yeah,
Sorbo.
yeah.
Wow.
Kevin Sorbo's card is my favorite part of this whole film now.
So fun.
He's playing an over the top version of Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah.
In this world of A Perfect Boyfriend, apparently the only celebrity that every company can hire as their spokesperson is Kevin Sorbo. So he consistently pops up like throughout the film as the spokesperson for all these fake companies,
A running
which is
joke.
so funny. Um,
That's awesome. So,
yeah.
yeah,
So.
but does that mean you two won't ever get a scene with Kevin?
I guess
No,
not. I'm
unfortunately.
so sad.
So, Hannah does have scenes with him. They're just not shooting together. It's via like a screen. So
Yes.
Oh, I love it. That's great. Uh, how long is the filming schedule going to be? Is it going to take you 3 weeks, or is it longer than
Yeah,
yeah,
that?
it's
3 weeks.
August 10th through the 28th. Yeah, so 3 weeks.
Okay. So this is really exciting. And is it a hope for a release for next year?
Yeah, that's the plan right now. So we signed with a distribution company called Hawk Hill, which has put a lot of like larger films out. We're really excited that they wanted to do this, and so it's kind of up to them when the release date is at this point. But I was talking to them last night, and they were thinking like spring to early summer of next year. So probably like the April May range.
That's awesome. Well, I think we're all going to be looking forward to it. And several of you have other projects going on, so I thought I'd just highlight that before we end our interview. Hannah, you have your TV series you're filming even right now, dealing with the Prairie Winds. And
Hmm.
uh, can you tell us just a little bit about that series that you're working on?
Yeah, yeah, we shot it back in I think it was May and June, like over May and June, and um it's just this family it's kind of set in the time period of Little House on the Prairie, and so it's similar. So this family is migrating west from the East Coast, and I think they make it to Colorado, and then God kind of shows them exactly where they're supposed to settle. And so it's very faith-based, just kind of centering around this family, how they navigate like all of the elements in this new town. They have some enemies that are kind of against them. They're meeting the natives. And so it really brings God into the center of it, though, which is really exciting. And so I got to play this Native American mother, and I think she's one of the leaders in her tribe. And so I had to learn Arapaho, which was crazy hard, but it was really cool. It's a really cool story. I'm really excited for people to get to experience it. And they're filming it a little different, where they filmed it all, the whole series or the season. They filmed the whole season all at once. I think it took like 3 or 4 weeks, and then they're releasing it as a movie in theaters, like a longer movie, and then they're breaking it into, I think, 3 or 4 episodes for
Hmm.
streaming. So it's a little different model than I've seen before, but I think it should be pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds really awesome. And then Drew, you're working on a film, or maybe it's already done,
Mhm.
about Forgive Me, April. And
That's
just
right.
even the premise is really cool. Tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. Back in this past April, that was ironic.
That is ironic.
Principal photography. So I came in for a week to shoot. We shot that in Fresno, California, with a talented team of filmmakers out there. And the story centers around recovery. And it's the subject of addiction. And I play a character who is kind of has a quest of like helping those in need, gathering them in a safe house, help them get along with their life, help them with that recovery journey. But he's got his own inner demons that he's fighting, and there's a lot of heaviness to that film, and kind of like a lot of roads colliding at the same time. It's a very impactful story that I think is gonna reach a really broad audience. And because I felt like even on that film that it kind of brings together all walks of life. Like everyone's been through their own kind of journeys, and I think that this film kind of really touches on a lot of different subjects that a lot of people can connect with. So it's a very amazing experience of just getting to act on that film and work with a lot of those talented actors. But along the way, I kept like looking forward to this film because I'm my personality is I just love more lighthearted things and comedies, and a lot of my favorite movies are comedies, and so I was just very much looking forward to this film, Perfect Boyfriend, um, and the experience that we're going to have on this one because it's going to be a blast. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, I will. I have two more questions. And I have uh, just because you brought that up, I've got to know what's everybody's favorite movie.
Ooh. A
Oh.
Princess Bride.
One of the perfect films.
Classic.
Or The Princess Bride, I guess. Now I'm stuck with A Perfect Boyfriend.
For
Man,
Princess
Go ahead.
go for it, Drew.
Oh well, I mean, I guess it's not a comedy, but I mean, the Lord of the Rings, and I do consider
So
them to
good.
be one giant 12-hour movie.
Yes. And
But if I
deter me on if you
had,
watch the extended versions.
yeah, exactly. That's
Mhm.
the only way to watch them. I mean, those films were came out when I was a kid, and they were what propelled me into filmmaking in the first place. And I remember like I still like watch them every year, and going back to them is like going to film school, especially if you watch a lot of the behind the scenes material. They walk you through every part of the filmmaking process. And as a kid, I was just absorbing all this information. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go out and do it myself now. I'm going to go make my own movies. And people are like, how do you know how to do that? I'm like, Lord of the Rings taught me. But yeah, so I have to say that one. Yeah.
Nice.
Tyler.
Mine's probably Casablanca. I
Ooh.
love Casablanca. I also love Gone with the Wind. So it's probably a toss up between those.
Classics.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm just like Drew. I'm a Lord of the Rings fan, but I'm also a huge Three Amigos.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's a classic comedy. You can't get
Hmm.
past it. Either, and I'm also a huge Napoleon Dynamite fan. There's,
If you had
uh,
asked me comedy, I might have said Princess Bride as well. Like that one's up
oh,
there.
it's
Amazing.
a flawless
So
film. And
Yeah.
good.
there's
So
the casting. Can I just say,
Hmm.
nobody else could have played those parts.
no.
That was a
And it's
perfect
so
casting.
and it's so cool to hear because I read the guy who plays Wesley Carey. I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Is it Helms?
El
Shoeless.
El Eulis. Okay.
Shoeless?
Shoeless, I
Eulis.
think. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
wrote a book about it called As You Wish, and it was so good and it showed all the behind the scenes stories and his experience on set, and I loved it so much. But that was him and the girl who played Buttercup. It was like it was like their first
Mhm.
big thing, and I was like, "Oh, that's so encouraging," because like this is like my first, like A Perfect Boyfriend is like my first thing that I've done. And Drew's done more than me, but I think this is your first time playing the lead, right?
Yeah. No,
Um,
yeah. I've always been in that
so
supporting role.
it's
So,
encouraging to hear that it was their first time. They were rookies, but they made this amazing movie that's so loved and cherished today. So I was like, okay, that's encouraging. We can do this.
That's
Mhm.
awesome. So, final question, and it's about the Lord. Um, you've been called to use acting and producing to share the gospel. Who is Jesus to you, and how do you show that in your art?
Who wants to go first?
I know I
I can
threw
go
out the
first.
tough question at the end, but
I
it's
can
just
go
such a
first.
beautiful question because
Yeah.
of who we are in Christ. And
Mhm.
so I think that it's a poignant question to think about because a lot of people do art for the wrong reason.
Mm. Yeah. I think for me, like I was just like in our prayer time this morning with my kids, and we were just kind of talking, like we've been going through this book that talks about the names of God and it's for children, but it talks about just all the aspects of who God is and all the names for him. Um, and just reflecting on like Jesus is everything. Like he literally is everything. He's the source of everything we need. He's the provider, he's the healer, he's our shepherd, he's our counselor, he's our helper. He's just everything. And I think that like to me like Jesus really is everything. Like I came to know the Lord when I was 3 years old. And I like when I came to know the Lord, I like felt the presence of God. And it was so good and so sweet. And I just like wanted that since I was 3. And I was like, there's nothing better. And I've grown in that and I've had ups and downs. But I can honestly say that it just keeps getting better. I keep falling more in love with Jesus. And he's just so amazing. Like he really is. Like I'm like, you are everything I need. Like take this world, give me Jesus. That's all I want. And I think that's why, like, I want to just be able to make these faith-based films because I want to just like point people a little bit more towards him to show them that like whatever you need, like your answer is Jesus. And so whatever you're looking for, like I think people can relate with stories and they see themselves in stories and stories can touch people's hearts in a way that maybe nothing else can. Like a teaching or whatever, like teaching is so good and so powerful. But a lot of people, they're not going to listen. And so, like, connecting with them through story and showing them a little piece of who God is so can be so powerful. And so I'm just like, okay, God, like you keep opening all these doors and it's all for you. So just like you lead me and I'll just keep saying yes to whatever you bring my way because his plans are better and amazing. And so I just keep taking those steps and I'm like, God, you're it. Like my life is my yes is yours.
Love it.
I
That was
actually
really good.
go,
Mic
like,
drop.
I mean, like Tyler's so used to this because Tyler's a pastor. So, but Jesus is my everything. And, I grew up and I was blessed to grow up in a very godly home with parents who loved each other, loved us. And, my dad is a big reason for who I am today. He would take time out of his busy day. He's the busiest person I know. He'd take time out of his busy day to always just sit down with me and talk through the Bible, what he's been learning, and helping me kind of like, understand, God's word as it relates to my life. And I've kind of grown up with God in a way, and through and making that faith my own has been something that has taken a span of, kind of many years. Um, understanding who God is and not just what I've been told about him, but who he is to me and learning about his grace. You know, I think the thing that I've learned in the past 2 years especially is just what grace really is, what that means. Um and I'm not right if I'm not right with the Lord. You know, I'm not right if I'm not in the Word. I'm not right if I'm not communicating it with my wife or with my kids or with my mentors. It's just like a daily thing where it's like I need to saturate myself with God, so I'm not saturating myself with everything else that's just junk in the world. But when I'm not acting, or video producing, a big passion of mine is directing and theater, and I work with a lot of young people, and you know, it's a unique situation because theater and film are things that are powerful mediums that the world has gotten its claws into, and a lot of terrible messaging is going out through these mediums. And I think it's unique that whether it's on in this theater department or whether it's in our faith-based film community, is that we have an opportunity to point people back to who God is, because God's the ultimate storyteller. He created this. He created this art form that we can all like tap into. He gave us these abilities that we can use to point people back to him. And so that's what's most powerful about it. And that's the opportunity that we have as actors and filmmakers to kind of like put our foot in the ground and be like, no, this is where this is, the message. This is the true message here, and we're going to penetrate the most powerful medium of our age, which I believe is film, and really like point people back to their creator. And so, um, I remember, um, from a very young age, that was like what I kind of knew God was putting on my heart, my brother's heart especially. It was like, let's make films for Christ. And actually, I wanted to tell this story if you don't mind me going on this little tangent. But like this is kind of how I got connected with Tyler and Hannah, especially. So my brother Brett and I had worked on a project called Disciples in the Moonlight, and I'm shamelessly plugging it, but it's a film, that kind of like puts America in this what if situation. What if the Bible was illegal? What would happen? How would people react anyway? And through that film, if I don't do that movie, I don't meet Hannah and I don't meet Tyler. Um, and this is how kind of God works all things for a reason. That's how I got connected with them, is because they were able to see it. And that's how, I got a random email from Hannah one day. I've never met Hannah in my life. And she's like, "Can you please read the script?" And I read the script, and I read it, and I can't even tell you, I just was moved by it. It was hilarious. My wife was like, "Why are you laughing about?" And I'm like, "I'm laughing at this hilarious script." Um, and I'm like, "It's a Christian comedy. Like, how amazing is that?" I don't think I've ever read one in my life. So I was like very passionate. I told Hannah, I was like, "I know we don't know each other, but I'm Austin. I'm the guy that you wrote. And like, I need to audition for this like immediately." And she's like, "Well, we're not even making the movie yet. Like, this was years ago." And I'm like, "I don't care. Like, if it ever happens, like, I need to be the person." And so that kind of like is what connected me and Tyler. And yeah, so it's just been kind of like a big waiting game. But I've learned in my life, like, God's timing is the perfect timing. And like sometimes his answer is to wait on things. And, it's not, we are not the authority of when things should be happening. Like, what do we know? And so, but seeing how God's laid out the path before us for this is like, it's super exciting, and there's a lot of peace, with nerves, but very, very excited as well. So, sorry, that was my kind of tangent, but I'll pass
No
it.
worries. No worries. Uh, Tyler, finish
So
this up.
the original question was, what is Jesus to me, correct?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that Drew kind of hit it. Like when you go in, so my entire adult life, I've been a full-time vocational pastor. It's like that up until 2 weeks from now, when I resigned as a lead pastor like 4 months ago, staying on board at the church in a elder type role, leadership role, but no longer going to be vocational ministry. But I'll be doing Christian film full time. So it's just a different kind of ministry. But when you make that commitment, it really, like, Jesus is your everything. I mean, like I have Galatians 2:20 tattooed to my arm, just as a constant reminder. Like, I've been crucified with Christ. It's not me anymore. Like, I represent. I'm His ambassador all the time. And so whether that's through film or through speaking places, or like just the way that we live our lives. Back when I first started getting serious about my faith, I heard someone say that if Jesus just has part of you, then He probably doesn't have any of you at all. Like, it's either kind of all or nothing. And that's really stuck with me for a really long time. I don't want Him to just have like a little bit of me. I want all of me to be completely sold out for the kingdom of Christ. And so that's what Jesus is to me. I don't know if that fully answers your question,
Well,
but
yes, it does.
it's an
Because
all-encompassing thing.
I grew up and I'd always see these bumper stickers that said, Jesus is my co-pilot. And I went, are you crazy? He needs to be piloting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jesus is my pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus is my pilot. Because,
yeah,
but I think too many people don't even have him as their pilot. They have him in the trunk. They have him for emergencies.
Mm.
He's the
yeah.
life vest, but he needs to be piloting. Guys, thank you so much for being a part of this. I'm looking forward to putting out a preview for you guys when you guys have it. You got a fan. So thank
Thank
you
you.
guys for doing this interview, and we're looking forward to you guys having a finished product here soon, and we'll see the film next year.
Yeah.
God bless you guys.
Thank you
Awesome.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.